Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully your store is growing well and you're starting to use AI or think about how AI can actually help you with your store. What I'm going to do today is actually show how you can use the data analysis aspect of AI to improve or review on what your sales data is telling you what's already happened in the past. So why TpT has actually improved the data, and we'll briefly look at that before we actually get into it. We need to look at our own data, look at our own data statistics to understand what's been happening. So obviously, if you've been having a store that's been running for a long time, you'll have a lot more data. If you're new, you won't have that much data. But once again, it's something you should do that at least once a year, and probably more preferable than that. Today, I'm doing an end of year one. It's in December. That's actually the 31st. No, what is it? It's actually the 1st of January, so I'm doing a review of the year 2025 and all my data up to this point. I'm going to show you how to get the data and how to get into that ChatGPT. And then I'm going to run through a whole lot of different prompts, which I will do, put a cheat sheet for you, link in the show notes. Then you can go access and download it if you want to, and show the output. As I said in my previous ones, I'm doing all these live. I'm not really doing much editing, cutting out. I'll chop out parts which take a little while to process, but essentially what I'm going to do is do it live and see problems and things. And as something comes up I don't like, I'm going to show you how I adjust and modify that to actually get the results I want. So let's get into it. Okay, this is my fourth time trying to get this done. Let's see if we can get it actually done this time. For some reason, my video keeps not recording on the desktop, so I'm hearing all the audio, but I'm not seeing what I'm actually doing. So we'll go through it again. So what I'm going to do is grab my product statistics here on the top right-hand corner. Got download. This will download all the products that I've sold and listed. It's also similar to, if you go to the dashboard, if you look at the product insights, it's similar to this, but it does a lot more in terms of AI. I've actually set up a project called TpT AI YouTube walkthroughs. So basically this is where I'll do my recordings or all my demos. As I said previously, I'm going to do it live, all the areas, but I will trim out the bits, the waiting bits. So I've downloaded my product stats there in a CSV file. This hasn't been changed. This is straight off TpT, no changes whatsoever. And I'm going to copy and paste the prompts through. Do not show earnings or values. Now, just I'll put that in there because obviously if I'm showing my top selling products, I don't want to see people see how much I'm making on them. Okay, here we are back. We've got my top 10 earners for the year. And just doing through Nazi Germany, ancient history, my different topics, when it was posted. Obviously did very well. You find that's probably a bundle, 22% conversion rate, which is really good for a bundle. And earnings is in the top 100 out of 100 when you look at my earnings and views. So you don't sell a lot in bundles, but 22% is really good. So this is data you can actually get from that. Okay, the next thing we're actually going to look at here is, copy and pasting my thing, is best converters. So this is the top earners. What are the best converters? Your best converters aren't usually your best sellers or your highest individual products in there. But like I said, list the best 20 converting products, things like that. And once again, we've got do not show amounts. Let's try this again. Okay, back now. If I click on thinking for a minute, I think I showed this before, we can see it's thinking, it's processing, and how it actually formulated the information. So what we've got here is, once again, in a nice table format, conversion rate. It's got the highest percentage conversion, which is my medieval crime, 120%. I don't know how I get 120%, but like I said, that's I think people may be buying more than one version or a second version when they buy it, but they don't really know it's an already 100%. Like I said, views per very low views, very high conversions. And if we're looking at these, we want something like this has got a good conversion, 48% conversion, 38 views. That's a lot of earnings coming in. So that's really of good value. So we can start to build a bit more of an understanding doing this. Okay, so we've got some data there. Next one we look is high view list and then isolate the worst converters. So essentially it's looking at the top 20 products by views, then identify the 10 worst converters from the list. Do not show the dollar amounts again, so I'll just put that in there. So the idea of this is products which are getting lots of views, but just aren't converting. And if you can find them, do we need to drop them off the store? That'll improve our conversion rate, which is really good for TpT search. Or do we look at finding out why they're not converting? And then look at improving or adjusting or working on their title, the marketing, the description, and as well as the product itself. So while it's going through their thinking, I'm going to stop here and I'll cut back in once it's produced its report. We've got some data here. Looking at this and look at my conversion rate, my medieval feudal system simulation activity. I do sell quite a few of those, but there you go. 100 high number of views, low conversion. So this is picking the things with the highest view counts, but with the lowest conversions. But even these conversions, looking at my store, are actually very good. So anything above 5 and 10% is a good conversion rate for your products. So even with here, so this one here, Ancient Egypt, curriculum bundle. Once again, it's a bundle, very low conversion. 3-5% is actually good for that. So overall, I'm very happy with my conversions. Yeah. Now let's have a look. Worst converters from a high list. So what it's done here is showing earnings per year, index highest products. These are my worst converters. My worst is hustle strategy game. Obviously, got to work on that. Conversion rate of 1%. So, like I said, anything above below 5% for a single product isn't good. This one, some activities here. And therefore, you can then go through and have a look at these. Ranked by views. So this is ranked 20, but it's got a very low conversion rate on there, which is quite interesting. So therefore, you can use this data to make some changes. The next prompt we're actually going to look at is one you can't actually use the statistics within TpT itself. You need to actually use an external way, the Excel spreadsheet. Well, like I said, if you're not good at Excel, you can use AI to help you with that. You can use AI to actually do this analysis for you. Now, this is pricing analysis with price bands and outliers. So we're going to run a pricing analysis of my products using earnings per year and conversion rate. We're going to group products according to price bands, identify products that are outliers, such as a low price but strong conversion, or high price with a weak conversion. Recommend which products to test with a small price change and why. And this is when you look at products like your data playbook that people will subscribe to. This is the sort of information I imagine you get out of there. So let's run that. And like I said, this starts to get more in depth and looking at data that you can make really good decisions on, more than what you actually get with the default TpT data analysis, which is really superficial. Anyway, I'm going to stop there and I'll be back as soon as it's finished. Okay, here we have got the data coming through here. What we're looking at here is it's looking for outliers. And this is a bit more analysis of what we're looking for. So I've got this product here and we look at the type of feedback we get. We've got recommendation. We'll go through that product, price band, views, conversion rate, earnings per year, I guess, part of the index, and why this test and why did it end up on the actual outlier thing. So recommendation slightly increased price. So vocabulary word wall. So it's in the bottom price range things are low price, but with strong conversion. So I'm converting it at 21.5%. So therefore I should really increase its price. That's what it's telling me there. We've got this bundle here. So it's a bundle, more than $20 is top price band, lots of views, 3% conversion rate, high price band with high views, but weak conversion, suggesting price resistance, a value mismatch. And it's quite a bit more than $20 being a bundle. So I have no problem. So 3 to 5% is pretty normal for a large high price bundle on TpT according to other sellers. So what I can do is go through and look at all these different products. So light decreased price. So this is a 6 lesson unit on the Atlantic slave trade. It's in the $10 to $20 price range. Views 2%. High price with high views but weak conversions, suggesting a price resistance or value signal mismatch. So that's actually really good advice. I might look at that particular one and possibly change actually what I'm doing with that. Like I said, we can go through and find these outliers and do them much faster with a lot more richness in the data that you can't do with your standard tools that you get in TpT. And this is where AI is different. And this is where things like your data playbook will do this sort of analysis. I don't subscribe to that, but this is the sort of analysis you get through. I mean, you can do this for your entire catalog. I'm not doing it because I've got a lot, but I've asked for the outliers here. And most of my ones are bundle prices that's identified, which is fair enough because you got low conversions. But like I said, you can then pick a range of products and get them review all your products in the $0, $5 to $10 range and do those and get a better representation. Okay, the next prompt we're looking at here is seasonal product analysis. So it said that on its way. I read it. So seasonal analysis for every month, so promotional calendar. Repeat the seasonal comparison for each month, January, December. Produce a month-by-month promotional calendar with 5 recommended products per month based on relative performance. And once again, don't show dollar amounts. What we've got there. At the moment, I don't have a lot of seasonal products. Some people do. Apparently, some people make bucket loads in seasonal products. Some lady I was reading on Facebook made over $1,000 on 3 Christmas products. So there's definitely a market there. And that was for the month of December. And the other advantage of this is it can match up your products for you, and then you can place them in those seasonal products. So I'm going to stop it there, and we'll come back when we get the results. Okay, here we are back. And what it's gone through here is looked at January, February, the different months. As recommended products that we could actually do this. So let's have a look at one I do know, which is October. It's mentioned my Halloween activity is, for example, one here. Christmas activity. The idea, if you don't know what products should be promoted per month based on seasonal demand, this is one of doing it. And it isn't always around an event. For example, here in Australia, Anzac Day, which is like our main military memorial day and public holiday, is in April. So it's recommended things like Australian World War I revision activities, things around that. So it does pull that sort of data out there for you. And now for the last prompt we're going to do in this particular series, curriculum's timing standards, using a month-by-month results, suggest curriculum timing, reasons for the spikes, propose which topics teachers may be teaching each month, and which of these resources match those needs. So flag any months where I should create and improve because demand remains high. So the idea of this is different products or different topics are taught maybe regularly at certain times of the year at different school systems. For example, here in Australia, we have 4 terms. We generally say do history for one of those terms. So anywhere in Australia, even within the one state, schools might do history at different times. But some people might choose to do history, say Australian history in World War I in our term 2, because that then lines up with Anzac Day. So you get these sort of changes. So doing your analysis when you sell particular topics at certain times of the year is a really good way to actually analyze it. And here we've got the results back fairly quick, done in 37 seconds. So January, back to school type of activities. It's giving me some suggestions here as maybe a history skills bootcamp product built for weeks 1 and 2. February, Black History Month. See, that's in the US. Things like civil rights bundles, suggestions. So going through, this is really good, helpful data depending on the products that you actually do based on your history. Now, if you don't have a lot of history or it's a small subset of data, then you might get a really good analysis. So I guess I've got almost 3 years worth of history and quite a number of products, so it's easier to match it up there. So July is Northern Hemisphere's planning. TpT often shifts towards teacher planning and resource building rather than immediate classroom use and so on. Now that I've finally finished this video, and it's taken me about 5 goes, actually 6 goes to try and get all the different components together because it just kept mucking up. It was very frustrating. Hope you do find it useful. Now this is just a start of how you can actually use analysis. And this is getting your data and using it beyond what you get when you do your normal statistics. So if we go back to looking at your data here, or you're looking at product insights here, this moves beyond that. This is really good superficial, but if you want to dig deep into your data and ask specific questions around things like timing, best products, outliers in terms of conversions, then I would say this is definitely a good way to go. You can use the free version of ChatGPT to do this. The advantage of using the paid version is you can tell it not to share your data when you actually upload it. Going through. So I hope you found this useful today. If you do, certainly like and subscribe below. Is there any particular way you'd like me to do analysis and things like that using AI? Put it in the comments below. That would be really handy. Give me a bit of guidance instead of just touching on the sort of things I do. If you might have a particular need we can actually look at. I do apologise for not getting it out on the Wednesday as I planned. Like I said, lots of technical problems. Until next time, keep up the good work. Keep plugging away in your TpT store or whatever you're using AI for, even for the classroom. And I'll talk to you next time.